folks, and welcome to another episode of the Philly Sports Recap. And today, we're going to talk a little bit about our Philadelphia 76ers that are now 5-1 as of November 7th, 2023. Last night, they beat the Washington Wizards 146 to 128. And one Joel Hans Embiid had 48 points, 11 rebounds. And what was really remarkable about his night is that he had 29 points in the third quarter, in which he was 10 for 10 from the field and 9 from 9 from the free throw line. Just a dominating performance all the way around. Now, here's why I wanted to talk about where the Sixers are now at 5-1 with a big game tomorrow against the Boston Celtics, and what I saw from yesterday's game, which included more of the pieces we received in the James Harden trade. So Nick Batum and both Marcus Morris Sr. got on the court last night. But Nick Batum played meaningful minutes throughout the game, and he was on fire. Started the game 3 for 3 from 3, 4 for 4 from the field, and I want to say maybe ended up 4 or 5 overall. But it was how he was getting his shots, his flow within the offensive set that Nick Nurse is doing a remarkable job with this team. I mean, I'm a diehard Sixers fan, and even though there were a lot of good statistics out of the Doc Rivers offense over the last few years, one of the things that I just lamented was guys didn't move off the ball. So in the playoffs, it was really easy to stifle the Sixers, in my opinion, in the playoffs, because when you sent these doubles at Embiid without any movement, it was a very predictable defensive coverages that just caused problems, I thought, throughout all of our playoff history. Nick Nurse, I think, has unlocked what this team could be. And interestingly enough, I almost look at this team as Denver of the East. You have an MVP caliber big in Joel Embiid who can pass, dribble, and shoot. Right now, his playmaking is looking exceptional because of the fact that you have movement off the ball, which we see in Denver. So you have your Tyrese Maxey, who to me is comparable to what Jamal Murray has been for Denver. Yes, Tyrese Maxey is a young up-and-comer, but for those who followed his trajectory, he is getting his improvements each season. It's remarkable. Whether it's his three-point shooting percentage, different dribble drive moves he's able to make. This young player is growing at a exceptional rate. And I think the city or this team is going to continue to try to find ways to have his game grow. And right now, we need a playmaker because we did lose James Harden, who led the league in assists last year. But the way Nick Nurse's offense is designed, I think Tyrese Maxey has the ability to be a playmaker while still hunting his own shots. Tobias Harris. I got to talk about Tobias Harris. I know for most Sixers fans, he's been a trade piece or a trade topic for many years. I love what I'm seeing out of Tobias Harris. Not only do I love what I'm seeing out of Tobias Harris this year, I think this is the version of Tobias Harris that was in, interestingly enough, on the Clippers that we thought we were going to get when he came back under Doc, right? It only made sense. It's like, hey, you're getting Doc Rivers, you're getting Tobias Harris, we'll get that version of him. But it wasn't. And part of the reason is because we were a Joel Embiid-centric offense, which you got to understand. And with Ben Simmons, who was also a unique player, Tobias Harris had to his role change. Under Nick Nurse, Tobias is a very confident player in terms of the shots that he wants to get, his movement within the offense, his ability to still do isolations. This version of Tobias, to me, is exactly what this team needs. So, in my opinion, I have no longer any interest of conversations of moving on from Tobias Harris. It's like, well, what would you want that gives you more than this? And I don't think that player's out there. Kelly Oubre. I mean, listen, I know there's a lot of conversations about his contract. Theoretically, he bet on himself. He doesn't have an agent. It's part of the risk you run when you don't have an agent and they kind of, squeeze you on the salary. Either way, he's going to earn his command of salary a number next year. And I hope the Sixers meet that number, quite frankly, because his fit on this team it's just seamless. He was exactly what the doctor ordered. The Sixers, in my opinion, have not had a scoring wing player for years. And to have a guy like this is just perfect. And I think coming off the bench, I think is going to be the role that probably gives us the most value, especially when you have Joel, Tobias, excuse me, and Tyrese in your starting lineup. I think Kelly Oubre off the bench is going to be just phenomenal. And again, I think the way this team is moving the ball, I listen, as a Sixers fan who's been through the heartache year after year because you believe in the team, and then in the postseason they kind of just let you down. I know I'm 6 games in. I know this seems like just like last year, but it looks so much different. One, because of the personnel. You got to tip your hat to Daryl Morey. We have a professional team, folks. I'm sorry. For those who thought, whatever you might think of Daryl Morey, we have a professional roster, point blank, period. Yes, I think maybe you could, and even with Jaden Springer, I think he's a guy you got to grow throughout this year because Tyrese Maxey, Springer, Melton, Pat Bev, those are going to be your primary ball handlers throughout the year. I like what we have on the wing with Kelly Oubre. Listen, Nick Batum, I mean, just his catch and shoot ability, a floor spacer defensively, he was so active. I mean, Robert Covington, another defensive stalwart that's on your bench, who's another 3-and-D classic guy. And then you have Marcus Morris, who can get his own shot if you needed to ISO him with the lineup. Paul Reed, who is just a ball hawk. Now, B-Ball Paul, this is a shout out to B-Ball Paul. Not only did I get one of his hoodies right off the press early on, you know what I'm saying? So I'm one of your first customers, but I also, because I watched the Rights to Ricky, I have one of their B-Ball Paul t-shirts, and those were like limited edition, you know. So I'm a fan of B-Ball Paul because of how he plays the game. So I just wanted to give you a quick shout out, bro. That kind of intensity, to me, this team will always need if you want to have success in the postseason. It's infectious. And why I like what I'm seeing from this team right now, and even though we beat an opponent up in Washington who's very disjointed, but it was their attention to detail defensively that was just jumping off the screen. If anybody has watched this team play over the last 6 games, they get after it on the defensive end. They're trying hard. I'm watching Joel Embiid in the first half of the season go all out on defense. I'm telling you, this is not something that I'm used to seeing. Usually Joel ramps up his defensive ability throughout the year in key games, especially even like throughout the game. Fourth quarter, he'll turn it on defense. First 3 quarters, he's letting a lot go at the rim. He's tuned in now. He's tuned in from the tip off. And I love to see it because I think even for his own maturation as our key guy, that's a jump Joel to me has to make. You know, I think he has to be the leader of the team, not just the best player. I think if we want to win a championship, Joel Embiid has to lead for real. And I think what I'm seeing under Nick Nurse, he seems a lot freer. I think he trusts his teammates a lot more because he knows he got guys that can get the job done. He seems to be a much more willing passer. I think because of the ball movement, he sees his opportunities to grow and develop his game as well. I don't think he looks at it as I can't score if I'm being a playmaker. And case in point is yesterday, 48 points, 29 in the third, and he was still effective playmaker throughout the game. So it just goes to show you he knows he can always get his. But I'm telling you, man, this team, this roster, this iteration of the Sixers, I know there's going to be a lot of conversations about making some changes potentially. Let's just see what we got. Can we agree on that, folks, that what we have is worth watching for now? We have a big test against the Celtics on Wednesday. Let's see what we got, because from my perspective, this team is not last year's team at all. And I think that we can contend against anybody. I already think that we are as good as any team in this NBA. And so I'm high on the Sixers. I'm going to the game on, Sunday against the Indiana Pacers. Sam's Community. It's going to be a Sam's Community outing. It's going to be great, a great time of fun and fellowship. I'm definitely going to have my binoculars out there, man. I'm going to be doing my scouting, but I'm also going to be fellowshipping with those that are coming out to just join us for another great time of engagement. You know, like Sam's Community is about bringing people together, building genuine relationships, and creating a community. And so if that's something you're interested in, you know, please feel just to check us out, see what we're up to, whether it's Instagram at Sam's2 Community, and message us. You know, we'd love to get in touch with you and just share more about why we do what we do. But back to the matter of fact, your 76ers, I think, are onto something. I think they're going to be under the radar. Teams aren't going to figure out that they're as good as they are until it's too late, and there's going to be nothing you're going to be able to do with them. So that's my feel right now, 6 games in. Celtics, again, is going to be a huge test, but I am not concerned. I really think that the Celtics are going to be surprised when we show up. But we'll see. So, till next time, folks. Peace.